In a land shadowed with power and greed, one group fought for the moral values of this world. This group was Team 14. These are their stories.
Hello, and good evening. Oh, I've just received breaking news. The case for legalizing gambling on sports is in uproar.
For generations, major professional sports leagues in America have done their best to pretend sports gambling does not exist.
But illegal gambling is already everywhere, urging legislators to contend with the reality that information technology has made it impossible to confine sports betting to just Nevada.
For one of the most popular outlets for illegal betting is the NBA. Recently, the Commissioner Adam Silver urged the legalization of an estimated $400 billion market. Gamblers are always looking for an edge and at any level of play.
I'm Charlie. Who's going to beat me?
Okay, nobody can beat you.
Basketball is a relatively easy game to corrupt. Each team only has 5 players on the court, and the team scores a lot during the game. It takes only one deliberate underperformer to tilt the contest in a way that isn't possible for most teams.
Well, we're just going to run it out.
Now, to truly understand the legalizing of sports gambling, we must first take a look at 2 important laws affecting the industry.
The first law is the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, passed in 1992. This act banned land-based sports betting in the U.S. in all but Nevada, Delaware, Montana, and Oregon. The second is the Federal Wire Act of 1961, which stated that any transmissions of wire communications regarding sporting events is illegal. Additionally, one of the main ethical issues revolving around the sports gambling industry is point shaving. But what is point shaving, you ask?
There was a question of shaving points. Explain how that whole betting scene operated.
All basketball betting is done on a point spread. So the odds maker establishes that one team, let's say Kentucky in this game, was a 7-point favorite over City College.
Right.
Now what happens when you bet either way, you either give or lay the points. If you're taking Kentucky, they're a 7-point favorite. Kentucky has to win by more than 7 for you to collect. If you're betting the underdog, you take the 7, and if they lose by fewer than 7 points, you win the game. So the idea was that they would bribe players to stay with.
At 7 points, the bookie takes it all. Is that right?
No, 7 points is a push. Nobody wins.
So, how does this all actually tie into business ethics? It's actually pretty simple. Current regulations for sports gambling allow for a black market to regulate how gamblers participate and wager in the sports betting market.
I told you, Axel Fried's an honest man.
So, instead of dealing with a renowned business owner with a guarantee of safe practice and customer loyalty, bettors are forced to invest their money with a bookie. A bookie could be a hit or miss in concerns of how you and your money will be handled. Invest a large amount of money and he or she decides to skip town and you're left in the hole with a loss of money, even if your predictions would have won you more money. Additionally, if you invest money you don't have and the game you wagered on doesn't end in your favor, the bookie could resort to violent repercussions instead of pursuing you with legal action.
If I ever see you in this town again, I will break your cheekbone with a small hammer, and then I will kill you.
If only there was a way to see how a legalized, regulated market would work. Luckily for us, we have an entire city that is based on gambling.
There's a new phenomenon in Sin City. Sports betting on the Vegas Strip is changing.
Yes! See you, Jayhawks!
The reason is buried in the desert, 10 miles from the heart of town, inside the new M Hotel Sportsbook, right behind this door.
That's where what we call Midas, it's our computer that actually spits out the numbers. It simulates thousands and thousands of games, and it gives us the result.
Midas is the wizard behind the curtain that drives the emerging sports betting trend called in-running wagering. For the first time ever, split seconds after every play, Gamblers can wager on constantly changing point spreads, odds, and over-unders. Here's how it works. Gamblers deposit a minimum of $200 into an account.
$5,000?
They get a mobile device or sit in front of a desktop touchscreen. Then they start tapping away. Minimum bets are $20, the max $1,000. With every play, the recalculated odds are determined by algorithms, complex mathematical formulas that propel trades on Wall Street. For example, the Duke Butler National Championship. Before tip-off, the Blue Devils were favored by 7. 2.5 minutes into the game, Duke was up 6-1, and Midas calculated that Duke was now a 7.5-point favorite. At the 15-minute mark, the Blue Devils were up 26-20, and Midas made them an 8.5-point favorite. By the end of the game, the point spread had changed 89 times, all because of Midas.
So to recap, the legalization of sports gambling could actually be beneficial. Sports gambling would in turn become regulated, eliminating the black market that is responsible for unethical practices and crimes. Additionally, the revenue gained and allocated taxes could be used to stimulate the economy. However, even if legalized, it is speculated that gamblers would still find more innovative ways to cheat, to turn a profit. Additionally, the revenue gained and allocated taxes could be used to stimulate the economy. However, even if legalized, it is speculated that gamblers would still find more innovative ways to cheat, to turn a profit. Not to mention, there is also a possibility that legalization could be responsible for people to become more addicted to gambling. Lastly, another concern is how the government would police and regulate the sports gambling market nationwide.